Most of you aren't subscribed. Make sure to transform that subscribe button, as it helps out the channel. Without further ado, having fallen asleep, a young boy, Eren Yeager, is woken up by his childhood friend, Mikasa and Armin. Questioned for crying while he was asleep, Mikasa and Eren pass through the wall surrounding their village, only to be stopped by Hannes. Teasing Eren for crying, Eren fires back, insulting Hannes' nonchalant drunken state as a soldier, and alluding to something that may break through their village walls. With a fellow soldier joining in, Eren is reminded of the 50-meter walls existing for more than 100 years. Additionally, the soldiers are reminded of Eren's father, Dr. Yeager, who had helped cure a disease that threatened people's lives. Knowing that Hannes and his men refuse to uphold a standard, Eren continues home, only to rush to the returning Survey Corps, who had ventured beyond the walls, to discover the surroundings. Hoping to greet the victorious soldiers, Eren is instead mortified, observing the soulless soldiers march through the village, with their heads hung low, clearly not accomplishing anything during their mission. With a villager, searching for her soldier son, she is stiffened, realizing that her son had been eaten by creatures beyond the walls. With the villagers insulting the despicable soldiers, Eren and Mikasa head home, unable to observe any more of the villagers' grief. With Eren's mother and father preparing for lunch, Mikasa mentions how Eren wants to join the Survey Corps and venture beyond the wall. Immediately berating Eren's idiotic idea, his mother is stopped by Eren's father, who calmly de-escalates the situation, only to head back to work, promising to show Eren his basement when he returns. Refusing to listen to any more of his mother's bickering, elsewhere we see a young boy, Armin, who's being picked on for his philosophical thinking. With Eren charging at the bullies, the boys become frightened upon realizing that Mikasa is here too. Chatting to Armin, the gang are suddenly interrupted by a huge explosion. Running to see what's all the commotion, everyone stares in horror, observing a titan towering over the 50-meter wall. With several kicks, the titan puts a hole in the wall, allowing smaller titans to pass through the wall. Realizing that his mother's home is near the broken wall, Eren is shocked to see his mother trapped under some rubble. Unable to pull his mother out, Mikasa and Eren notice and approach Titan. Having come to assist, Hannes is frightened by the approaching Titan, instead choosing to flee with the children, leaving Eren's mother. The scene ends with the Titan devouring his mother, all whilst Eren helplessly watches everything unfold. A long time ago, Titans began to appear, causing humanity to dwindle in numbers. The humans who survived built 3 walls, Maria, Rose and Sina. After so many years, the walls have finally been broken. Back with Eren, he struggles to break free from Hannes' grasp, shaming Hannes for leaving his mother, but both are brought to tears, both realizing they were weak and feared the Titans. Heading through a gate, deeper into the walls, it is revealed that they are located in an area protruding outwards of Wall Maria. With Mikasa and Eren boarding a boat to travel into Wall Maria's domain, everyone is informed of approaching Titans and the overpopulated boats, hence some villagers are left behind, as they can't risk Titans breaching Wall Maria. Suddenly, a peculiar Titan charges at Wall Maria's entrance, smashing through. With nobles alerted of Wall Maria breached, we cut to Eren, who swears to avenge not only his mother, but his entire home. The next morning, learning about food distribution, Mikasa and Eren head out in hopes of getting some rations, but are shocked to see the overwhelming number of villagers. Lucky Armin had acquired additional food, but upon learning of the soldiers deliberately mocking the poor villagers, Eren refused to eat, arguing with Armin. Mikasa is forced to knock some sense into Eren, forcing him to eat, if he wants to avenge his loved ones. With overpopulation being an issue, several soldiers along with hundreds of villagers were enlisted to help recapture their land and cultivate food, but sadly they had failed, losing 20% of the population to the Titans, but this had solved the food shortage for now. Several years later, we see the trio enlisted as soldiers, under the command of Keith Shaddis, as the 104th Trainee Corps, with the goal of learning to slay Titans to live. Chewing out each of the soldiers, Keith makes sure everyone understands how pathetic they are, caught off guard noticing a girl, Sasha Blouse, eating a baked potato during their introductions. Attempting to defuse the situation, Sasha offers the disgusted Keith part of her potato, but is punished, forced to run until she drops. Back with Eren, we see him captivate other soldiers' attention, narrating his first-hand witness of the colossal titan. Having been called out by a fellow soldier, Eren stands up for his morals, only to leave, chatting to Mikasa. Having run herself to death, Sasha is given food by Historia, but Historia is called out for being too nice to Ymir, hoping to take advantage of Sasha. The next day, Eren is unable to use the maneuvering equipment, embarrassing himself, whilst Mikasa masters it. With Mikasa and Armin attempting to cheer Eren up, Armin and Eren meet Reiner and Bertolt, who too had been displaced from their village. Growing closer, Reiner and Bertolt take Armin. The next day, Eren is assessed on whether he can become a soldier, based on his movement with the maneuvering equipment. Having helped himself up for a second, he fails, pleading for a second try. Silent, Keith tells Eren to remove his equipment and replace it. With the new equipment, Eren is easily able to balance, realizing that his previous equipment was faulty. Just like that, Eren passes, now an official soldier. With 2 years passing, we see everyone training real-life scenarios. Training endurance, constantly carrying around their equipment. The gang also practice maneuvering and slaying dummy titans, as Keith notes each of their strengths and weaknesses. With Eren and Reiner practicing some knife training, Reiner attempts to pick on Annie, who's slacking from training. Sending Eren to spar with her, Annie is easily able to knock down Eren, following up by beating up Reiner. Before she leaves, she points out these useless exercises, as the only one taking it seriously is Eren. Later that night, Eren overhears Jean insulting others for taking it seriously, stating that he'll take up a position where it's nice and safe in the inner walls. Taunting Jean, Eren is able to engage and trip Jean, showing off his hard work whilst others are slacking off. With Keith G checking on the commotion, Sasha ends up being blamed for the commotion. With graduation coming up, the soldiers are offered to work, outside the walls, on the walls or inside the walls. Even with the offer to work in luxury, Eren still is striving to venture beyond the walls, learning that Armin and Mikasa will follow after him. The next day, Eren and the gang are excited to see the new Survey Corps, compared to 5 years ago. Greeting Hannes, the two make up, accepting the past as the past. With Eren and the gang patrolling the walls, Eren learns that several other. Suddenly a single lightning strike reveals the resurgence of the colossal titan. Gritting his teeth, Eren greets the creature that fueled his anger for 5 years. Using his gear to avoid the colossal titan's swings, Eren notes that the titan had aimed for the cannons on the wall, along with breaking open the entrance to the wall. Eren deduces that the creature is sentient. With the titan swatting at Eren, Eren takes advantage of its slow movements, wrapping around the creature and attempting to cut at its neck and kill it. But as Eren goes in for the slice, it emits a hot steam blowing Eren away and disappearing. Realizing that the titan had appeared and disappeared, the same way, 5 years ago, Eren and gang are alerted to make preparations for the incoming titans. Fearing that they'll relive the tragedy from 5 years ago, everyone prepares for battle. Cutting to the king, we see a commander, Pixis, play the king in chess, deliberately losing in order to entertain the king. Upon learning of the appearance of the colossal titan, Pixis drops his act, bidding the king a farewell, as he heads to the front line. Back with Eren, we see the soldiers form 3 groups, the vanguard, middle guard and rear guard. With Eren running into Jean, Eren reminds the frightened Jean the reason for their tortuous training all these years. With Mikasa attempting to chat with Eren, she's called away into a separate group, bidding Eren bye for now, and requesting that Eren not die. It's revealed that Titans cannot talk, nor do they have any form of intelligence. Titans have no way of reproducing, and have high body temperatures. Additionally, they avoid all creatures but humans, meaning that their sole existence is to kill humans. In the past, humans had fought Titans with cannons, blasting off the creatures' heads, only to have them regenerate. Therefore, back with Eren, we see him and Armin motivate their group, competing to see who'll slay the most Titans. Their nonchalant nature gets one of their teammates killed. With Eren attempting to avenge their teammate's death, he's caught off guard, mortally wounded. With the team dropping like flies, we see Eren helplessly watch as a Titan picks up Armin. With his remaining energy, Eren is able to save Armin, but in exchange gets himself devoured by the Titan. With Armin fainting, He's awoken by Connie, Ymir and Historia. Forced to accept the reality of the situation, Armin separates from Connie, heading to report the death of his group. Elsewhere we see a merchant block up the only exit to the inner walls, claiming that his material goods are far more valuable than the lives of the lowly villagers. Noticing an approaching Titan, everyone attempts to push the merchant through, but the Titan is luckily slayed by Mikasa. Wondering why the entrance is blocked, Mikasa realizes that the greedy merchant is the cause of the delay in the evacuation. Fed up, Mikasa threatens the merchant, prompting him to move his wagon of goods and allowing the villagers to evacuate. Flashing back, we learn that Mikasa had a happy family, until one day several men killed her father, intending to capture Mikasa's mother and her, and sell them off as slaves. Instead, the men didn't expect Mikasa's mother to put up a fight, so they were forced to kill the mother as well, only capturing Mikasa. Having learnt of Mikasa's disappearance, Eren is able to track and kill one of Mikasa's captives, but fails to defeat the other criminal. Fueling Mikasa's revenge, Eren is able to motivate Mikasa to kill the criminal, marking her first kill and a change in her easygoing personality. With the Yeagers accepting Mikasa as their new family, with Mikasa grouping up with several other soldiers, Armin reports the death of his entire squad, including Eren. Observing Mikasa's lifeless eyes, she rallies the troops, mindlessly charging into the battlefield. With several people chasing after her, we see Mikasa fall, cornered by a Titan and low on resources. Having accepted her fate, Mikasa is suddenly overcome with an urge to live. Realizing that her death would be in vain, Mikasa promises that she'll live, as an additional Titan cuts off her exit. Suddenly the mysterious second Titan attacks the first one, surprising Mikasa, as this is the first report of a Titan fighting another Titan. With Mikasa noting something familiar with the mysterious second Titan, Connie and Armin swoop in to save Mikasa. The three then witness the mysterious Titan take up a fighting stance, blowing the head off of another rogue Titan. Armin suddenly realizes that they can lead the mysterious Titan to the armory that is currently surrounded by Titans. Making their way to the armory, we cut to Jean and other soldiers, having made their way to the armory. Realizing that the station soldiers in the armory are useless, Titans begin to break into the armory. Suddenly Mikasa and Armin appear, informing everyone of a mysterious Titan that'll kill the rogue Titans, buying them time to replenish their resources. Now decked out, the gang set a trap to kill the Titans that have made their way into the armory. Having successfully executed the plan, the gang head back outside, witnessing the dying mysterious Titan. With its body beginning to disintegrate upon its death, everyone is shocked to see Eren appear from its corpse, whilst Mikasa rushes to embrace Eren. It's revealed that Eren, whilst in a Titan's belly, was reminded of his mother, which had triggered an innate ability, causing him to transform and go on a rampage. Waking up, Eren is shocked to see him. Attempting to reason with his fellow soldiers, Eren learns that he had transformed into a Titan, whilst he was unconscious. Before the soldiers can kill Mikasa and Armin, Eren bites his fingers, transforming into the Titan. With Eren transforming and hopping out of the shell, he's able to create enough smoke to allow the three to run away. With Armin thinking through Eren's proposal, Armin steps out of the smoke, offering the idea of an Eren as a weapon for the humans. With one of the scared commanders refusing to listen to Armin's words, Commander Pixie interrupts the scared commander, before the trio can be executed. Speaking to the three privately, Pixie asks Eren if he can use his Titan power to seal the hole in the wall. Seeing no way out, Eren states that he will. Satisfied with Eren's answer, Commander Pixie rallies the remaining soldiers, explaining how Eren was part of a Titan research program, and will be used to help block the hole in the wall. Upon hearing this, several soldiers begin to wonder their purpose, if such a power was given to a mere boy. Stating that this opportunity will be the very first victory for humanity, Pixie is able to encourage frightened soldiers to go along with the plan, as the completion of this mission will ensure the safety of their families' lives. Starting the mission, several soldiers lure the Titans away from a boulder, meant to be used to plug the hole. With Eren transforming, Mikasa is caught off guard, as Eren attacks her. Realizing that Eren has lost control, Pixie signals to shoot Eren down, but Pixie still has hope, sending several soldiers to protect Eren's Titan body whilst he recovers. Armin attempts to speak to Eren, cutting a slit in the Titan's neck and speaking directly to the unconscious Eren. After several words, Armin is able to break Eren out. Back with Jean and other soldiers, we see them attempt to mitigate damage, but suddenly are shocked to see the awakened Eren carrying the boulder on his shoulders. Demanding that all soldiers clear a path for Eren, we witness Eren's resolve, as he plugs up the hole in the wall. Deeming the mission a success, Armin attempts to get Eren to safety, but is caught off guard by some remaining Titans. Forced to step in, the Survey Corps, Levi Ackerman dispatch the surrounding Titans, whilst his squad clean up the remaining Titans in the walls. Several days later, Jean and the soldiers scour the battlefield in hopes of recovering resources, but he's shocked to realize a fellow soldier, Marco, mysteriously dies, as Jean was the last person to see him, live and well. Back with Eren, we see him awakened in a jail cell, greeted by Erwin, the leader of the Survey Corps, and Levi. Questioning Eren's mysterious key, Erwin and Levi learn of Dr. Yeager's mysterious basement, and the secret to rivaling the Titans. Questioning Eren's reason for fighting, Erwin and Levi are surprised by Eren's response. Both seem hope for the future in this book. Thanks for watching.